Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to yet another edition of the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. It is Monday. I hope everybody had a great weekend. We have got a jam-packed show. Don't forget, every Monday night and Wednesday night at 5 Eastern, you can catch my show on my Facebook and YouTube channel. And periodically, I'll also do extra episodes that you can listen to on Apple and Spotify. I actually did a show Friday night as I was recapping the World Cup matchup between the United States and Turkey. And now the United States are in the group of 32. I'm going to break down that entire bracket. Who can win the World Cup? I've already filled out my bracket. I'm going to go through the bracket by each match. We've already had one match yesterday. We got a match that's actually going on right now as we speak. And then we'll go ahead and break that down for the World Cup. Going to talk NBA free agency as it officially kicks off tomorrow. We do have some possible moves, and we have some local teams that could have some moves as well, because I do believe the Atlanta Hawks are not done just yet. I'm going to talk Major League Baseball. What's happening with the Braves? And we also had a very good series between the Red Sox and Yankees as All-Star voting is starting this week. Is the first week of July, and we've got the All-Star game that's coming up in a couple of weeks in Philadelphia. It's a great time just to enjoy your summer. It's America's 250th birthday, so I think it's fitting. We got the World Cup going on, being hosted by the United States. We've got the All-Star game in Philadelphia, and it's a great time to be a sports fan. And as you can see, I'm wearing Columbus Lions because the Columbus Lions did it. They are in the AAL championship. I was there at the Columbus Civic Center on Saturday night. It was completely packed out. Pastor Troy brought the house down with his halftime performance, and I had the privilege of being the camera guy for that. And the Columbus Lions will be taking on the Wheeling Miners July the 11th in West Virginia. Columbus Cleanstones, they split the 6-game series with the Rocket City Trash Pandas. They're getting ready to go on the road, taking on the Knoxville Smokies. And then we got Columbus United FC, which actually will play a soccer match on the road against Birmingham Legion FC 2 at Protective Stadium. That's going to be this week as well. So much to get into. Without further ado, oh, yeah, and I almost forgot. Because it was so popular last week, I've decided to bring back my sports movie review, and I had a little fun with this. Definitely want to check that out. It's the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. Let's go ahead and dive right into the show. All right, I got it in front of me. My bracket, the group of 32. Well, it is great just to have all these World Cup teams face off in this group of 32. We're used to seeing a group of 16. When you get to the knockout stage, in the past, we had 32 teams in the World Cup, and so we only had 16 teams that made it to the knockout stage. Now that they have expanded to 48, it gives teams that if they lost in group play, they still have a chance. I mean, we had a team in Cabo Verde who had 3 ties, ended up advancing out of the group, and there's been some teams that actually won a match that are staying home. So I'm going to break down the group of 32. Congratulations to Canada winning their first match in history by getting the 1-0 victory over South Africa. That happened yesterday. Right now, as we speak, Brazil and Japan are battling it out. Actually, I've got my bracket right in front of me. I think Brazil is a dark horse to get pretty far here in the World Cup. They've had a lot of disappointments. Hopefully, they can be able to pull this out against a very well-disciplined Japan team that's always had a pretty good team. And then later today, we got Germany taking on Paraguay. There's a possibility we could end up having a Germany-France matchup in the round of 16. And then later tonight, this is the game I am really looking forward to seeing. The Netherlands, which is another dark horse to win the World Cup. They've been to some World Cup finals, but they never won it. Taking on the darlings from Morocco that made it all the way to the semifinals in 2022. And I cannot believe the amount of teams from the continent of Africa that has been in the knockout play. Don't forget the United States will be taking on Bosnia and Herzegovina. That's going to be this Wednesday, as I'm optimistic to see how far this United States team can go. Realistically, I think they get to the quarterfinals. But in the back of my mind, they're just as good as any of these teams that are ranked according to FIFA. I've got them in my bracket losing to France because France is just on another level. Mbappe's in his prime. They have depth. France is a favorite to win the World Cup. So let's go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and break down my bracket. All right, here we go. So we already got Canada advancing. They will take on the winner of Netherlands and Morocco. I got Netherlands beating Morocco later tonight. And then we got Germany and Paraguay. I got Germany beating Paraguay. France plays Sweden. I got France advancing. So that sets up a Germany-France round of 16, a Canada-Netherlands round of 16. Don't want to get ahead of myself. So I'm just going to break down all the games in the round of 32. How about this matchup? Belgium and Senegal. That's going to be a great matchup. The United States taking on Bosnia and Herzegovina, and they'll face the winner of Belgium-Senegal. I got Belgium winning this soccer match. Now, Belgium, a little bit older team. If you think, well, the United States might have trouble against Belgium if they meet them in the round of 16, you got to remember that Belgian team back in 2014, not the same Belgian team. This is a little bit older, and the United States is a lot better. Remember, that was a 2-1 score, and Tim Howard had the keeping game of his life. It was an incredible feat, but I just don't think Belgium is the same team. They got lucky to win the group because they were going in. They had to get the goal differential, and they did because they just blanked New Zealand 5-1 to win the group because they tied with Egypt and they tied with Iran. They had to win to get that group. I actually thought Egypt was going to win the group, but apparently Belgium ended up winning it off of goal differential. And so down at the bottom of the bracket on the left side, Spain taking on Austria. Austria, a pretty good European team, but they haven't been as good as they've had in the past. Spain is just young. They're very talented, but Yemi Yamal, who's only 18 years old, is their future superstar who, happens to play for FC Barcelona, but he is just electric and could be the next superstar in the World Cup. And then this is a nice matchup. Portugal and Croatia. How much pressure is on Portugal to try to advance far in the World Cup with Cristiano Ronaldo being in his final year at the age of 41? And then you go to the right side. Right now, Brazil's taking on Japan. And then you have Ivory Coast taking on Norway. I think Brazil wins, and I think that Norway ends up beating the Ivory Coast. So you got Eric Haaland for Norway, and you got Vinicius Jr. for Brazil. Remember, Brazil does not have Myanmar, but they still are talented. A lot of pressure on Brazil to try to win the World Cup because they haven't won one in a long time. I believe 2002 was the last time that they won a World Cup. So we've got Mexico taking on Ecuador, and then we got England taking on Congo. This soccer match is going to be in Atlanta at noon at Atlanta Stadium, Mercedes-Benz Stadium, whatever you want to call it, on Wednesday at noon. So that's a big soccer match, especially there's a lot of fans from England that's going to be packing out that Atlanta area. And then Congo was able to get out of the group by beating Uzbekistan, and that happened on Saturday night. So Congo gets to be back in Atlanta. So if you're a fan of Congo, sticking around in the Atlanta area might have a chance to go see another World Cup match in the round of 32. And then you got Switzerland taking on Algeria. I think Switzerland advances. And you got Colombia and Ghana. I think Colombia advances over Ghana, although I would never underestimate Ghana. You saw what they did against the United States in 2006 and in 2010. Australia and Egypt. Now, this could be a tough matchup. Whoever wins out of here will end up facing Argentina because I think that Cabo Verde's run being in their first ever World Cup and tying 3 opponents, including Spain, and they advance out of the group, I think their run comes to an end. Argentina ends up winning there, which sets up for a round of 16 matchup, which would be held in Atlanta between Argentina and the winner of Australia and Egypt. I think it's going to be Australia. I'll be honest with you. I really think the United States was in a tough group because you got Australia and Paraguay that also advanced. I think they're going to have a good showing. It's going to be Argentina and Australia, Colombia taking on Switzerland. I got Colombia winning that. I got Argentina winning that, setting up for an Argentina-Colombia quarterfinal. I've got Mexico beating Ecuador. I got England beating Congo, setting up for a Mexico-England round of 16. I got England winning that, although it's going to be close. I think that's going to be a match I really want to watch and see how good this Mexican team is. Brazil and Norway, man, oh man, this is going to be box office, and you have two superstars going at it. But I do think Brazil gets by Norway, setting up for a Brazil-England quarterfinal. Let's go back to the left side of the bracket where Canada their run's going to come to an end. I believe they lose to the Netherlands here in the round of 16. Germany and France. Look, Germany, how unlucky do you have to be for Germany to be paired up in the round of 16 with France? I think that France ends up beating Germany, and then that sets up for a France-Netherlands quarterfinal. The United States, I believe they beat Belgium. I'm a firm believer in the United States being a team of destiny. They're on their home soil. I think that they're poised to beat Belgium to reach the quarterfinals for the first time since 2002, and it would be the first time in history of United States soccer that they end up winning 2 knockout stage wins. Spain and Portugal, my heart wants to say Portugal because Cristiano Ronaldo, but I think that Spain just has so much depth. I think Spain ends up beating Portugal, setting up for a United States and Spain matchup in the quarterfinals. So the quarterfinals are set on my bracket. France beats the Netherlands to reach to the semifinal. Man, this is going to be tough. I really want to pick the United States. They have to play a perfect match against Spain. I think that Florian Balogun needs to be that next superstar. He needs to have the match of his career. Attacking positions, Christian Pulisic needs to be completely healthy, and him and Balogun just need to be playing pitch and catch. And I really think that Mauricio Pochettino, who just got an extension, by the way, got the United States playing aggressively. They used to be, living on counterattacks, but I think that their run, I hate saying this, I think their run comes to an end. I think Spain beats the United States in the quarterfinals, which sets up for a Spain-France semifinal. Over in the other bracket, which, by the way, the semifinal will be in Atlanta on July the 15th. I think it's going to be Brazil and Argentina, which would be a massive semifinal, and it would be great for the city of Atlanta if it is Brazil and Argentina. And I think Argentina advances to the World Cup final, where they will take on France. We're going to have a rematch of the World Cup final in 2022, but this time I think France comes out on top. Kylian Mbappe wins the Golden Boot, and France wins yet another World Cup, which would make 3 in their country's history. And, they've been close, but they're the best team. I'll be honest with you. They are the best team left in this World Cup. The door is wide open for the United States to get to the semifinals. But in order for that to happen, the United States needs to play a perfect match against Spain, no mistakes, and get plenty of touches from Christian Pulisic and Flo Balogun. And I think that's the key ingredient for the United States to at least try to get to the semifinals. But I'm not picking them just yet. I want to see how they face against Bosnia and Herzegovina and then against Belgium. I think they don't have a problem in the round of 32 or the round of 16. I think the problem is going to come in the quarterfinals against Spain. Let's do this. Why don't we take a break? And when we come back, I'm going to talk Columbus Lions. Absolutely. Columbus Lions did the thing. and I was there to witness it. You don't want to go anywhere. It's a Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, and we'll be back after this.
Help protect your family from flu this season by taking 3 easy steps. First, get yourself and your family a flu shot. It's quick and can protect you all season. Second, take everyday actions to help prevent the spread of germs like flu. Cover your cough, stay home from work or school if you're sick, and wash your hands often. Third, there are drugs that can treat flu illness. These work best when started early. Learn more at cdc.gov/fightflu.
Welcome back to the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. All right, it's time to talk Columbus Lions. Wow, what a win. 46-6 over the Mississippi Wolfpack at the Columbus Civic Center. That was the most packed out I've ever seen the Civic Center for a Lions game. I've seen them pack out for the River Dragons. The Columbus Rapids, forget it. They even come close to that. Maybe they got to 1,000. There had to be at least 5,000 fans there for the Columbus Lions. The tickets cost $7.06. You had Pastor Troy was amazing for that halftime. And I was there for the whole thing because I was actually working a Columbus Lions event for the first time in 2 years at the Columbus Civic Center, operating the camera. Dave Plata and Mike Peacock did a fantastic job, as always, with the announcing. And the thing about the Columbus Lions and what Roger Beck and Corey Black have done, they put together an incredible product that's entertaining. And I think that this league is going to thrive. The AAL2, or the AAL, is going to have 2 new teams, the West Texas Warbirds out of San Antonio, and then the Montgomery Catfish for 2027. I think that this league is going to continue to grow, and I hope that the Columbus Lions stay in this league. And I really hope that guys like Jarmon Fortson is able to come back. I know there's talks that he might retire at the end of this year, but his number is going to be up in the rafters at the Columbus Civic Center. There's no question about it. But Blaine Espinoza, I got to know his older brother, Mason Espinoza, when he was the quarterback here in Columbus. But Blaine Espinoza looked fantastic. DeMarco Lee was running the ball, did a great job. They didn't even really need Braden Wood to kick extra points. They decided to go for 2, and they were able to do their thing, move the ball down the field. And it really was Blaine Espinoza that had plenty of time to throw in the pocket. And even though the Lions were missing key defensive players, they were able to get the job done, only surrendering 6 points. But they're going to have a tough matchup against the Wheeling Miners on July the 11th. It's going to be up in West Virginia. The whole crew is flying to West Virginia because we will be live streaming that on the Columbus Lions YouTube and Facebook. Well, not me. I'll be back in town because I'll be calling Columbus United as they will be taking on their home finale also on July 11th at the Columbus Civic Center. A little backstory with me and the Columbus Lions. I got to start in broadcasting when the former coach, Jason Gibson, allowed me to coach, or allow me to, not a coach, allow me an opportunity to call Columbus Lions games in 2022. And unfortunately, Jason Gibson left, and I really didn't know what was going to happen. He left in 2022. The team's status was up in the air in 2023. And new ownership came in, and they went to a different league. I had an opportunity to be the play-by-play announcer, not the whole season because I actually had other obligations. And that's where Thrift Behringer took over, and he became the play-by-play announcer in 2024. And I'm okay with that. Things happen. I'm glad I got the opportunity, but there was a reason why I was chosen to be the play-by-play announcer in 2022, and they wanted to upgrade because I was just doing it for free. Because in 2022, I was an unknown, unproven broadcaster. And you want to have professionals in there. And, I can't think of anybody better than Dave Plata and Mike Peacock, and then Thrift Behringer as well, as he does sideline reporting. So, with that being said, Columbus Lions taking on the Wheeling Miners, and good luck to them. I hope that they do well. All right, let's go ahead and take a break. When we come back, I'm going to talk more stuff here, including the clean stones. You don't want to go anywhere. It's a Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. Back after this.
At Jersey Mike's, they slice your order fresh right in front of you. And let me tell you, watching that can send a rush of emotions through a person. Excitement, impatience, baby-like wonder, indecisive, anticipatory chewing, nerves pacing, happy claps, and finally, jealousy, because that's this guy's sub. I should order one. Good idea.
Sliced right in front of you. It's a Jersey Mike's thing. A sub above.
And we are back here on the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. United FC, they're going to be on the road. We got the Clean Stones. They're going to be on the road. This is really a very unique time, as this is dead week for all the high schools in Georgia and Alabama. I can't believe July is almost here. And before you know it, we're going to have fall sports, including high school football. And that's where I break it down in the weeds. I do my research. I study up these schools from Georgia and Alabama, because here on this podcast, I don't just talk about high school athletics in the Chattahoochee Valley. I also have expanded to the Macon, Montgomery areas as well, LaGrange. I talk that general area, high school athletics, because I think that it is important. My podcast is unique to this area. And what better way than to expand it as I expand my audience and I continue to grow this brand, which many of you know, I've had this podcast for 6 years now, and this is now 1027, as I've had that many episodes in the past 6 years. So let's go ahead and get right back into the show. So the Atlanta Braves didn't really have a great outing, as they end up falling to the San Francisco Giants over the weekend. They dropped 2 out of 3, and right now they are 49-33. They are 3 games ahead of the Philadelphia Phillies. So the Phillies aren't going anywhere. They are going to be up the charge, and right now they lead the wild card. But the Braves need to get a better showing, especially at home when they're taking on the Cardinals, and then they're taking on the Mets. If you want to blame it on injuries, you can go ahead and blame it on injuries. Spencer Strider is going to be on the 60-day IL. Ronald Acuna Jr., he's projected to be back maybe after the All-Star break. But I do think that you got to rely on the players that got you to this point. Right now, the Braves are just in a little slump. I still think that they will figure this out. They will make the playoffs. Whether that's going to be as a wild card or winning the division, I honestly think the Phillies aren't going anywhere, because the Phillies have an MVP-type player in Kyle Schwarber, who hit his 30th home run. Also in Major League Baseball, the Red Sox-Yankees. That was a fantastic series, especially if you are a Red Sox fan, because they ended up sweeping the New York Yankees. And it got me wondering, so I'm thinking, well, yeah, the Braves or the Red Sox and the Yankees, it is really a pure rivalry that I remember how fierce and intense this rivalry was in 2003 and 2004. It was high drama. I mean, Don Zimmer and Pedro Martinez going at it, Roger Clemens, and oh man, it was this Roger Clemens, Pedro Martinez. I mean, that 2004 Yankees team, they thought they were even better than the 2003 Yankees team. And they just signed like Hideki Matsui, and they still had Jorge Posada. They had Derek Jeter. They had A-Rod. 2004, when A-Rod decided to go to the Yankees, that was like a kick in the gut for the Red Sox. So that's why the Red Sox coming back from the 3-0 deficit in the ALCS to the New York Yankees might just be the greatest sports story of all time. I'm gonna give you that. Even more than the Cubs winning the World Series in 2016, or the or the Knicks winning the NBA title. That was the greatest sports story of all time. And not even the World Series. The ALCS itself, they had a 30 for 30 on the Boston Red Sox beating the New York Yankees, being down 3-0. So with that being said, just taking a look at the major leagues right now, you have the Milwaukee Brewers leading the NL Central, and then you've got the Dodgers that are leading the NL West. And then you've got the Tampa Bay Rays. They got a game lead over the New York Yankees. So, I mean, the fact that the Red Sox are able to sweep the Yankees and they're in last place, that just tells you the Yankees are struggling. And, you can throw out the record books anytime rivalries face each other. You got the White Sox. How about the Chicago White Sox? What I'm seeing is absolutely incredible. 43-39. And look at what they did the last two seasons. They went 60-102, 41-121, 61-101. They've had 3 seasons of terrible baseball, and yet they're in first place in the AL Central with a 43-39 record. That is absolutely incredible. And right behind them, the Cleveland Guardians. And then over in the AL West, you have the Texas Rangers that it's got a half-game lead on the Seattle Mariners and a game lead on the Houston Astros. The Athletics are right behind them with their 2 back. So Major League Baseball, they got the All-Star voting going on. We will know the starters. We'll know the reserves. We'll have the Home Run Derby. We'll have the All-Star Game. Philadelphia is going to be a great host, especially with the country's 250th birthday. All right, NBA free agency. Let's go. Come on. NBA free agency is tomorrow, and we know that Draymond Green has opted out of his contract. He's probably going to stay with the Golden State Warriors for one more year. Could the Warriors see some superstars that's coming to their team? And there are talks that the Clippers might ship Kawhi Leonard to Dallas, which Masai Ujiri, who's now the GM for the Dallas Mavericks, was the GM in Toronto when Kawhi Leonard was brought over to help the Raptors win the championship in 2019. Some of the other possible free agents, I mean, I really like Walker Kessler. I really think that Walker Kessler is going to maybe go somewhere that's a competitor. We know LaMelo Ball got traded to the Minnesota Timberwolves. Will the Boston Celtics ship off Jaylen Brown? And we also have other players like Miles Bridges ended up getting traded off. He was on the Charlotte Hornets, averaged 17 points a game. He goes to the Phoenix Suns. So even though these trades and signings are not official just yet, NBA free agency will kick off tomorrow. So I'm excited about that. And I'm also excited about SEC Media Days, which is going to be July the 20th through the 23rd in Tampa. We got 5 new head coaches. They're going to be taking the podium. I got to be a part of this last year when it was in Atlanta. I had so much fun. I got to ask a question as a member of the media, and I was representing Sports Visions, and I want to thank DJ Jones for giving me that opportunity to represent Sports Visions at SEC Media Days last year. And it was a great time for me to network. I got to run into some key people in the media when you think of SEC, and it was a lot of fun. But SEC Media Days will start July the 20th. The University of Kentucky, who has a brand new coach, Will Stein, they will kick it off, followed by Missouri with Eli Drinkowitz, Oklahoma, Brent Venables. Remember, Oklahoma made it to the college football playoff last year. Tennessee with Josh Heupel. So that will be day 1. Day 2, we're kind of covering it locally here in this area in Columbus because we've got Auburn, Alex Golish, brand new coach, going to be taking the podium. Georgia, Kirby Smart, he's just used to doing these for over a decade. South Carolina with Shane Beamer, and then Clark Lee for Vanderbilt. And what we're going to try to do is DJ Jones is going to be down there in Tampa. I'll send him a StreamYard link, and we'll do a live hit from SEC Media Days on the Sports Visions morning show. Day 3 is going to be Wednesday. We got Kalen DeBoer taking the podium for Alabama. New coach for Florida, John Summerall. And then we've got Jeff Lebby from Mississippi. We got Pete Golding from Ole Miss. And then we've got for Texas A&M, I can't remember who the coach is for Texas A&M. Oh, yeah, that would be the coach for Duke. He used to be the coach for Duke. Let me look that up real quick. Man, I just lost my train of thought. See, I'm not like a college I'm not a college football expert. Mike Elko. Man, they went 11-2 last year. So, and then the fourth and final day, we've got Ryan Silverfield, brand new coach for Arkansas. We got Jeff Lebby from Mississippi State, Steve Sarkisian for Texas, and then the last person probably going to take the podium. They're saving the best for last, Lane Kiffin for LSU. There's a lot of buzz that LSU is a favorite to win the national championship. I think that's how much of an impact Lane Kiffin is going to have on the LSU Tigers. Here's what we're going to do. Let's go and take a break. When we come back, the moment you've all been waiting for, my movie review. It's coming up next here on the Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge, right back after this.
When you really need something to get you through a long graduation ceremony, Trolley Sour Gummy Worms are there to give you a thrill. With varieties like Trolley Sour Bursting Crawlers. The worm's soft and chewy texture, surprising flavor combinations, and neon bright colors will give everyone a reason to celebrate. So when you want to notch the festivities up a couple degrees, Trolley Sour Gummy Worms are the perfect way for everyone to celebrate. Shop now for any trolley that crawls your way.
Welcome back here to the show. And don't forget that you can catch another episode this Wednesday night, 5 o'clock. Also can catch a replay of this show. I'm found on Apple and Spotify and on Mission Radio WQVZ 1700 AM. A big shout out to Ryan O'Neill, the station manager, who just had a birthday. But you can catch this show every Sunday night at 8 o'clock Eastern, 7 o'clock Central. Without further ado, let's do sports movie review. This is something I enjoy doing. I love sports movies. I wanted to think outside the box. I wanted to do something different. And last week, I reviewed Facing the Giants. Now, it's a great movie. There's a lot of sports movies that are based on a true story. They captivate the audience. Some of them have nothing to do with sports, but this time I wanted to go in a different direction. I wanted to have fun with this. I'm going to review the movie Kicking and Screaming. Think about this. Will Ferrell, given a budget, say, go crazy. Go do what you do best. This movie came out in 2005. Will Ferrell already did Old School, already did Elf, already did Anchorman. 2005 was really his year where, he did Bewitched. I know that this was a year where you take one look at that movie poster and you knew you were going to get Will Ferrell's craziness, which he wasn't crazy like this in the entire movie. First of all, they completely stole the plot to Little Giants. Will Ferrell's kid gets kicked off his dad's team, which it's the weird dynamic. His dad being played by Robert Duvall. Look, Robert Duvall turned down The Godfather Part 3, and he did this movie. I don't get it, but he was great in it, and also starred Kate Walsh, who was in Grey's Anatomy. I know that my wife watches that show, but Will Ferrell was just a normal guy in the beginning of the show. Got moved to another team called the Tigers. He decides to coach them. He acted normal until he went on a coffee trip. And there is a scene in this movie. I'm sorry, I gotta show it. Let's Let's go ahead and roll that clip.
All right, Tigers. Let's get ready to play, huh? I don't want to see any laziness there, okay? If we win this, we're in the finals. If we get a big lead, we got to pummel these guys. We got to pummel them at all costs. Dominate and hammer them. I want you to play dirty if you have to, but don't get caught. Young son, stay low, okay? That's easy for you. Just chop block him in the back of the knee. That'll work well. Ambrose, you're big. Don't be afraid to throw the elbow. If you break someone's collarbone, that's a good thing. That's what the medic's for. Otherwise, he's just sitting around, all right? You hear me?
Hey, Phil, I don't think that's a very good attitude. You can't talk about hurting other players.
You don't think? You don't think? I don't think you should be butting in when I'm talking to my team. You're my assistant, okay? You're supposed to back me up and go get me juice boxes when I tell you. Now go get me a juice box.
You know who you're talking to?
I'm talking to the juice box guy.
You're crazy.
I'm not crazy. I'm just thirsty.
Why don't you go to hell?
No, you go to hell. While you're there, why don't you grab me a juice box?
I'm no juice box boy, I'll tell you that.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not.
Yes, you are.
No, I'm not. You're like your old man.
I'm not like my old man.
If it weren't for these kids, I would whip your butt.
I can take a punch.
I'm out of here. Bye-bye. I'll see you, Mr. Big Time Coach. Bye-bye.
I'm not like my old man. I'm a kind and gentle, compassionate human being.
Yeah, that was, oh man. Will Ferrell is completely bonkers in this movie. During that scene, when the Tigers are in the final, he's throwing a chair. He's pushing a kid down. It's some of the craziest scenes you can think of. Really, just like majority of the sports movies out there, they do find a ringer. They don't just find one ringer. They find two ringers, two Italian brothers. The assistant coach was Mike Ditka, which is like crazy that they were able to get him to do this movie. They had fun doing this movie. Now, it got like a 41 on Rotten Tomatoes, but it was just a off-the-wall, hilarious movie. This is my type of humor. I like movies like this, like The Benchwarmers. Yeah, maybe I should do that one next. No, but sports movie review. This is really my favorite segment of the show that I decided to put back in the show. And on Wednesday's show, I am going to announce which movie I'm doing for Monday's show. How about that? Wow, what a fun that was fun. I enjoy watching the movie Kicking and Screaming. Well, we absolutely had a fun show, but it is time to sign off. Make sure that you like us on Facebook. You could also subscribe to the YouTube channel. You could download us on Apple and Spotify commercial free. And every Monday and Wednesday night at 5 o'clock, you can catch a new show. And who knows, I might even have guests on. We're going to do this thing right. And we will see you on Wednesday previewing that World Cup matchup between the United States and Bosnia-Herzegovina. So hope everybody had a great rest of your night, and we will see you next time.
Thank you for watching The Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge. You can catch new episodes on Facebook and YouTube every Monday and Wednesday night at 5 p.m. The Sports Beat with Richard Holdridge is a local podcast that covers sports in Columbus, Georgia.